Hey everybody, Sean Sewell with Gearman.com with Russ Mann from Karakoram. We're really excited to go through the 1920 lineup with Splitboard gear, so I'll let Russ Mann take it from here.
Hey, yeah, Russ Mann at Karakoram. So I'll get into the Connect lineup to start, I think. Basically carry over this year, except for, I'll start with the Connect S. So, you know, all the snow surfing stuff, with all the cool shapes coming out, this like really cool cultural evolution in snowboarding. So this binding is really designed to be our premier snow surf binding. So still Splitboard capable with the split kit. We'll get into that in a second. But basically, like, super responsive chassis, full length EVA footbed.
That is nice.
It's so awesome. Even when you're splitboarding, like being able to tour with the foam footbed.
Yeah.
If you're used to riding resort bindings. Tooled up this year and developed a new strap. For this binding, we shot it in a really soft DuPont Hydro.
Oh yeah, that's like gooey.
So it's almost, yes, gooey. So
yeah.
you know the Taro Tamai K2 boot. So it's basically like kind of similar concept, like really maximize range of motion.
Yes.
But still have tons of response out of the chassis, but then a lot of motion, a lot of motion in the upper half of the binding. This is also our most affordable binding. It's $380, $370 to start. And then if you want to splitboard, it's an extra $150 for the interface. So really attainable package. And that comes with 2 sets of the quiver connectors. So.
Oh wow.
Go into the Connect R. This year seems to be like the year of the Connect. We sold out of the R's in November.
Wow.
Usually we like to sell out in like March.
Yeah.
So we really blew it on production forecasting. So this binding just killed it this year. It's, you know, I think I've gone over these with you guys in the past, but basically it's a super high performance resort binding that is fully splitboard, backcountry capable, but more than anything, it's just a super comfortable, ultra high performance binding that's just going to turn a snowboard like nothing else. Like active joining technology, we're sucking it down to the board, preloading off all 4 contact points, as opposed to having a central disc, the binding flexing all around a center point like that. This thing's glued to the board, so really driving the edge into the ground is kind of the name of the game. If you want to go on steroids, get the Connect CI, and it's carbon infused. Same as the Connect R, but carbon fiber in the chassis and high back.
Cool.
And
nice.
HTN high back. This binding has the Connect Splitboard adapter, tour adapter. Again, like being able to tour in the backcountry with full foam and like ultra comfort, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd say this is probably the stiffest binding ever made. Like, you won't find a stiffer binding. It just does not bend, but it's still super comfortable. So for really like aggro aggressive riders, you still want the comfort, but when you lay into a turn, like it's instant response. So personally, I think this should be like my own personal promo. I love this thing. Women's Connect. Carry over this year, but still all the performance of the men's bindings. Full foam, softer high back, lower chassis, a little narrower. And that's the beauty, by the way, of where Karakoram's going with the binding chassis, the development and design. Now we're doing width adjustments for every size.
Oh wow.
And that's something that other, particularly splitboard bindings, don't offer. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, good for you.
So yeah, super high performance women's binding.
Sweet.
Alpine splits.
Yes.
So if you're, if you're like, like an experienced resort snowboarder, the Connect's going to be your thing. So maybe that customer is a split curious.
Yes.
But if you're a backcountry veteran or just know your stuff with touring, you're going to want to check out the Alpine line first. We're carrying over the Prime straight line this year, and so it really actually surprises me, the demand for the straight line, because this binding was kind of my idea 5-6 years ago. I was like, let's build the craziest, strongest, burliest, stiffest, most intimidating binding possible. Like this thing does not bend.
Yeah.
It'd be the same as the CI, but for split board focused riders.
Yes.
A little lighter than the CI in touring, but just as stiff.
It's like 6,000 series in it?
This one's 6,000 series, yep. So thicker sidewalls, so it's not going to be as light as our other split bindings, but just that ultra aggressive. Moving into the new stuff for the Alpine line, this is really where we've revamped our entire Alpine split binding program. You know, we really love the Prime SL, but it's, as all things in the universe go, evolution and change, if you believe in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Prime SL is gone, and it's being replaced by the Prime Nomad. And basically, if you take the Connect R and the Prime X, and they did it and had a child, the Nomad pops out. So basically, now the customer is getting Prime X performance and weight at the Prime SL price point of $669.99. 7,000 series aluminum in the sidewalls and heel cup, 6,000 series in the toe stay and heel stay. The wraparound chassis. The beauty of the X chassis, again, is the width adjustment, or specific widths per size. So everything from women's small to men's extra large, like they're going to have their own corresponding width because boots get wider as they get longer.
Of course, yeah.
So, yeah. The beauty, another thing about the wraparound X chassis is all the hardware is on the bottom of the binding. The exception of the heel cup and ankle strap, everything's hidden under here. And so what that allows us to do is really utilize the strength of the hardware screws in their strongest direction. So basically putting them into tension as opposed to shear force. And so, you know, having managed the warranty program at Carricorn for a long time and seeing every single problem we ever encountered, the Prime X has, I've seen less than 5 warranties on the actual X binding for the past 3 years. So it's an incredibly durable, strong chassis. So I just think that the Nomad is going to be a cool entry into the high-end split market for people that are, you know, maybe not wanting to spend $1,000 bucks, but you know, they got $600-700 to get super dialed.
Yeah.
New strap, tooled up. We dropped a ton of weight out of this thing. It's really ergonomic. Again, it's injection molded. It's not going to soak up water. That can freeze.
Yeah.
The more you flex it, it's not going to fatigue. It's amazing how they don't break down. Strangely, plastic never dies. Something to think about in your purchases. So, certain applications, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Lastly, the Nomad is over 100 grams lighter per foot than the Prime SL.
Really? That's cool. That's always light one.
Yep. So over 200 grams out of your whole kit at the same price. So it's good for you. It's definitely still trying to innovate.
And it comes in a women's version too?
And it comes in a women's corresponding model.
That's a cool color too.
Yep. Just slightly different than the levered for distinguishing factor, but same binding, shorter, narrower, but the exact same performance. And I think that's an important point to make in a high-end women's market is no compromises. Like women's gear used to be sort of like, you know, kind of shitty.
Yeah, just paint it pink and give it to them.
Make it shittier and paint it pink and like expect them to not care, but they do care. So
they care.
We really want to push that high-end women's super performance market.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Moving into the creme de la creme.
Yeah, the creme de la creme.
The Prime X. Man, where do I start? You know, having done this for over 10 years and in the binding development side of things, I can't even articulate to you guys how incredible splitboard bindings are now. 10 years ago, you know, we were starting to make real progress, and just looking at the efficiency, the touring performance, the riding performance, the changeover performance, the durability, the weight, like, again, riding performance, like, it's open throttle shredding, like they're so good. So Prime-X lost 100 grams per binding from last year's Prime-X, which was already super light.
Yeah.
Part of that is we've moved to asymmetrical chassis, where your outside wall is still a really tall high back for pushing that lateral side of your foot into the slope for side hilling. But then with the flex lock disengaged for ride mode, you can really surf the turn and get that like ultimate board control. The way I liken it too is like when you're riding really steep technical terrain and you're doing a lot of that kind of like Jeremy Jones style pivoting in your ankles with your board, this lower sidewall really does make a difference in those situations. Also, it just looks freaking cool. We got a new strap. Lost some weight out of the strap. It's a little bit of a stiffer material. It's super comfortable. I actually think it's more comfortable than our Airform strap.
Wow.
Let's see.
I love the Airform.
We are moving to all hollow hardware. It was one way we were able to get rid of weight. Showed them this binding. So hollow touring pin, touring axle, 7075 T6. Hollow pins, and these are titanium.
Nice.
Hollow pins, moving to 7075 aluminum hardware. I would say, you know, it just also adds to the bling factor. Like,
It does look nice.
I mean, it's just the fit and finish has been a really big focus. That's the baseline Prime-X. Prime-X Carbon. I'd say, in my highly biased opinion, this remains the absolute apex in split board binding technology.
I would concur. I love mine.
My colleagues really wanted me to use the word apex. So, this is my personal favorite binding. I ride this full time, inbounds and out. I put this on my Jones Ultracraft Carbon flagship. Spot the Mind Expander. Solid board riding with the Prime-X is also incredible because it's so light and so precise. It's just like that ability to get your knees to your chest like that much faster.
Yeah, it's reactive.
Because you're not carrying around any extra shit. It's all the fat's been trimmed off. And it's just so responsive, like it's glued to the board.
Yeah, it's very responsive. I definitely agree with that.
Super badass carbon high back. Ultra responsive. Carbon high back's not for everybody. It's only for crazy people who really like to just ride steep, like especially if you're a dumbass and like to ride steep, scary terrain in bad snow. Carbon high back makes a huge difference. Heel side turn, dude. Like lifelong Jedi ninja mastery. Like not sucking at heel side turning is like takes a long time.
Yeah.
I should talk about the interface for a second.
Yes.
Ride Mode 2.0 introduced this last year. Some refinements, just making things better. Same thing, but even better. Like drop-on changeovers, everything just falls together. Tour modes have been beefed up a little bit.
Yep.
Improvements to the heel risers, so it's just refining everything. This guy, that one, yeah, trade here.
Oh, yeah. And we have reviews in detail on both of these interfaces.
Yeah, and we introduced this SL interface last year, and this is kind of a soft release this year for it, just to kind of see how people receive it. Turns out everybody and their uncle wants it, so it's going to be an accessory upgrade to any of the bindings, 7000 series aluminum, goofy and regular foot specific, angle specific, also similar drop-on changeovers. So yeah, it's just everything's getting better and better. Accessories, I think I introduced sender plates last year.
Yep. Tip and toe locks.
Yep. Oh yeah, tip and tail locks. I've learned this year that the sender plates, they're not actually just for climbing spines in Alaska. You know, just bouncing around our home mountain Alpental. For example, if I'm going into the backcountry and I'm on my Prime-X's, on my Carbon flagship or whatever, I'll just throw these in my backpack. And it's been a couple of situations where I'll ride into a line where I'm just kind of exploring new terrain, and then I figure out that it's 300-foot cliff and I have to hike back out. And so just having this little bit of a security policy, having these guys in your backpack, and instead of spending 2 hours wallowing in chest-deep snow, you just dance right up. So
That's awesome.
Regarding the front points, we're not marketing it as such, but my handsome colleague Michel and I,
Michel Davies,
we went dry tooling, climbed some vertical rock with our ice tools and front points, and we're not saying you should do that, but that's how capable they are.
Yeah, it's extra stuff.
It's sick, Other accessories, Ultra Clips are a carryover. The tip locks, kind of selling these like hotcakes at the bottom of a French chairlift. Yeah, the tip locks are a huge, huge benefit. I'd say like, does this guy have them? Yeah. Let's do it. Just the ability to have full active joining technology, tip to tail, has been a really big deal. So it's the idea is like not just active joining, but ease of use. So when the clip is in its open position, it just falls on, snow clearing, and then you rotate this, boom, it's totally locked. The split board is glued together all the way down. So I really don't think that there are any compromises in ride mode from the split board to solid board.
No, you get that, you get Ultra Clips.
The only reason I don't ride my split full time in the resort is it's such a sweet setup, and I don't want blowjos to be riding over and scratching.